Pajama Bible Stories, Pajama Bible Stories, Pajama Bible Stories.
Welcome to another episode of Pajama Bible Stories. Today we are going to talk about the Dormition of the Theotokos. Where in the Bible is the Dormition of the Theotokos?
Not in the Bible?
Oh, you're right. It's not in the Bible. But we are talking about it today for a couple reasons. One, because it involves many of the people who are in the Bible. It is biblical times, and it is an important feast that we celebrate on August 15th every year. And sometimes people discount things that happened that aren't recorded in the Bible, religious things. But I'm not sure why we do that, because we have history books. We believe all sorts of things happen throughout history that aren't recorded in the Bible. So why do we not believe when something awesome is recorded elsewhere and believed throughout the centuries? Now, this story is a tradition of the church, and much of it is recorded by St. James. All right, so St. James talks about what happened to the Theotokos after the ascension of Christ. Well, we know that when Christ was on the cross, he told one of his best friends and disciple, John, to take care of his mother. Okay? So, he said, take care of her. And so from that point on, he took her into his home. All right? Then, over time, after a while, the Theotokos died. And during that time, all of the disciples had traveled all over the world to preach the good news of Christ's resurrection. But when they got word that she had died, they had all come back to visit and see her before they put her in the tomb. Now, one apostle, wasn't there yet. He was far away. He went as far as India, and his name was St. Thomas. St. Thomas is the same disciple that wasn't in the room when Christ showed up to the disciples after the resurrection, and he had to come back a second time for him to see Christ after the resurrection. So poor St. Thomas keeps missing out. Well, finally, St. Thomas comes back, but by this point, the Theotokos would already been put in the tomb. Okay? But he wanted to see her one last time. So they roll away the stone in the tomb, and they go to see her body, and guess what?
Nothing's there.
She wasn't there. She wasn't there. Her whole body and everything was taken up to heaven to be with her son, Jesus Christ. Pretty amazing, huh?
Mm-hmm.
What does this say about us? What it says is a couple things. One, that the relationship between Christ and his mom was a real one, right? That we have a God who has real relationships with people. Because what is Christ? Who is Christ? He is both God and man. He's human. He's both. So we have a human being on the throne of God, right? Pretty awesome. And that we too will, in the resurrection, be risen with Christ, both not just soul, but both body and soul. You'll have feelings and bodies and all this material stuff, right? All right, we'll be able to touch. Okay, these are things that will happen in the resurrection. So we continually ask the Theotokos to pray for us, to talk to their son for us, because that relationship is real. Just like you and I have a real relationship too, right? Awesome. So that's the story of the Dormition of the Theotokos, or the falling asleep, or the earthly death of her, and she's raised up into heaven. Next week we'll talk about St. Paul. We'll find a story about St. Paul because that's what was requested. All right, in the meantime, we will see you hopefully next week, and we'll talk about St. Paul. All right? All right.
Next Monday. It's probably
film on Monday.
Yeah, we're gonna film on Monday. It's probably
Tuesday or Wednesday.
Tuesday or Wednesday.
Yeah. Blessings, crosses, see ya!
All
All right, good job.